Did Will Smith predict that his career would be destroyed during a ayahuasca trip? And it looks like Bad Boys 4 and Will Smith's career might be on the comeback. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So it's been a while since we talked about Will Smith or the slap heard around the world against Chris Rock. As you know, Chris Rock has been selling out and doing quite well. He was most recently at the whole Dave Chappelle attack situation and even made a joke about the Will Smith slap. Well, now Will Smith, it looks like his career might be on the way back. Look, I was in the middle of reading and catching up on everything that went on between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp in their trial this week. And some of you said, Kempire, it's okay. We don't care about that. But I was going to give you an update. But then I was reading I'm reading and I'm seeing some updates on Will Smith. And I saw two different articles about Will Smith. And I said, that's a sign. I need to talk about Will Smith, because I said this in my previous videos in covering Will Smith and all the projects that were put on pause, not canceled, put on pause, because it seems as if Will Smith is going to slowly but surely make his way back and do just fine. So it looks like Bad Boys 4 is still on the way. The last time we reported on Bad Boys 4, we told you that Will Smith at the time had 40 pages of the new script. But we heard, according to sources, that it had been put on hold because of everything that happened at the Oscars. Well, now the Sony chairman is speaking out and saying that those rumors are far from true. Tom Rothman told Deadline this specifically. He says, no, that was inaccurate. The movie's been in development and still is. There wasn't any brakes to pump because the car wasn't moving. In regards to Will Smith and his behavior at the Oscars this year, he says this, that was a very unfortunate thing that happened, and I don't think it's really my place to comment, except to say that I've known Will Smith for many years, and I know him to be a good person. That was an example of a very good person having a very bad moment in front of the world. I believe his apology and regret is genuine, and I believe in forgiveness and redemption. We also have to keep in mind, though, it's important that Will Smith be a part of this next installment, because 1, 2, and 3 were usually successful. They don't want to do a 4 without Will Smith. Of course not. We always have to keep those little things in mind. But we've said this too. We shouldn't allow one very insane moment discredit all the good someone has done. But again, let's keep in mind, Bad Boys premiered in April of 1995 and grossed $141 million worldwide. The film spurred 2 sequels, Bad Boys 2 earning $273 million in 2003, and Bad Boys for Life grossed $426 million after being released in January of 2020. So keep in mind, and as I said to you before, despite the Netflix movie Fast and Loose being put on hold, the Bright sequel being put on hold, keep words being put on hold so until society forgets about what happened at the Oscars. They may never forget, but they will definitely forgive and move on. They're not going to want to cancel Will Smith. Even though a lot of you said, no, we're not going to cancel him. We didn't like what he did. Well, some of you did, but majority of you didn't like what Will Smith did, but you didn't want him to disappear. You still think that he's a good guy. So I'm not surprised that now the wheels are starting to be in motion that Will Smith is coming back. But Will Smith did an interview for Netflix's David Letterman's Netflix series. And in this promo, it's interesting because Will Smith, it seems as if, predicted what has happened. Because this interview was done before the Oscars, before the slap. Let me just break down to you exactly what Will Smith said in this interview with David Letterman. He says this. Will Smith says something very interesting in regards to a drug-induced vision that he had. Will Smith tells Letterman about a vision he had on a druggy trip in which, eerily, he saw his life and career go up in smoke. In a bit teased out by Hello, Smith, who says he's never done drugs, not even marijuana, same, reveals that he got really into ayahuasca. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. a psychoactive brew that has been taken for over 1,000 years and was first discovered amongst tribes in the Amazon basin. Smith says he took 14 journeys. Whoa. One of which was the most hellish psychological experience of my life. This is what he says. He says, I drank and it usually takes about 45 minutes to kick in. Smith told Letterman, and I'm sitting there and you always feel like maybe it won't kick in this time. So I'm drinking and sitting there, and then all of a sudden, it's like I start seeing all of my money flying away, and my house is flying away, and my career is going away. At one point during his vision, he heard his daughter Willow calling out for help. Then slowly, I stopped caring about my money. I just wanted to get Willow. I stopped caring about my house. I stopped caring about my career. This is very interesting, y'all. This is happening before this Oscar slap. It's just the symbolism. And if you don't know what ayahuasca is, I feel like I've been hearing about ayahuasca for such a long time, but the first time I really heard about it was Chelsea Handler, her Netflix show that she had where she went and did that. And I was like, wait, what is this? And then I've met multiple people that have done it multiple times. And some spiritual leader told me at one point, he's like, Kempire, you have never done any sort of drug in your life. You might not want to start with ayahuasca. Oh, so that's why I've never done it. But I'm not surprised that Will Smith has. But I had no idea that this is something that happened to him during this thing. Intense as it was, Smith emerged with a new perspective, namely that anything that happens in life, I can handle it. I can handle any person I lose. I can handle anything that goes wrong in my life. I can handle anything in my marriage. I can handle anything that life has to offer me. There are other unintentionally strange moments throughout the hour-long chat. At one point, Smith talks about his private versus public life. There's a person that you want to be and a person you want to be viewed as, he said. And then there's who you really are. At another point, Letterman mentioned Smith's mother, to which Smith gets jokingly irate, telling him, don't say nothing about my mother, Dave. This is all before the slap, y'all. He pretends to be angry with Dave. He's not really angry here. And that's why a lot of people thought the slap was a joke. They thought it was planned because this is not something that people see from Will Smith. But based off this conversation, it's almost like this was a foreshadowing of everything that has happened to Will Smith. But like he says, his big perspective after doing ayahuasca and seeing that vision is that he can do anything. He can get over anything and just not be too worried about, oh my gosh. I wonder how he really felt about everything after the slap. Did he have clarity? Did he feel as if his career was over? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But I thought this was so interesting. And the only reason why I'm doing another follow-up on Will Smith and the slap is because it's the psychology of it all. It's the reason why I majored in psychology. It's the reason why I'm so fascinated by ayahuasca. Should I do it? No. Not if it's going to make me slap people once I come out of it. Just say. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts. Have you ever done ayahuasca? What was your clarity when you've done it? Should I do it even though I've never done anything in my life? Sidebar, Will Smith has never done anything in his life and he's done it. But is it going to make me slap people? Things to think about. Things to think about. Guys, as always, let's continue this conversation below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.